Hi everyone, it's Scott here from Success on Tap, and in this video I'm just going to quickly show you how to set up your Success on Tap account from scratch. So again, please forgive the kind of shabbiness of the video. I just made this really quickly because all I want it to be able to do is show you how to use the app. By now you've already registered and you're probably seeing an identical blank dashboard as the one is about to be shown to you. First, it's prompting us to create some annual goals. So let's click here. So here you're given some instructions on how to create your annual goals. So basically, eventually once everything's created, you are going to have a nice page that looks something like this. You're going to have annual goals categorized in each category box that you can mark as complete or incomplete. Right now we don't have any of that, so the first step is to create a category. So all annual goals belong to a category. So let's first define some things that may be important in your life. So for example, health, career, personal development, they may be important parts of your life. So you would create a category for each of those things, and then you would create goals that correspond to each category. So maybe if you created a health category, you may have a goal that says I want to be able to run a marathon this year, and you'd add that in your health category. So let's add a category. I'm going to just go along this same example. There are some instructions here, but I thought it was worth making this video just in case. So health. Save. Okay, so I've created a category. Now it's flashing, prompting me to click this button here, and that's what you do to create a goal. So I want to say by the end of the year I want to run a marathon. Save. Okay, so you can, here it's understood and it's seen that we've created our first category and our first goal, and it's saying let's return to the dashboard and we can continue this tutorial. So it is possible to keep adding categories and keep adding goals. There's no problem with that, but I've just created this tutorial and this prompt to make sure you get through all the key parts of the app. So let's click back to the dashboard. Okay, so we're now back at the dashboard, and the walkthrough tutorial is telling us that we're at step 2, create some habits. So let's click there. So again, we're not going to create all our habits here, we're just going to do one of each thing so this video doesn't take too long. So we've got some instructions here which you can read. I'll just talk you through things now. So as we already explained in the dashboard part of the video, habits are created to try and increase the chances of you achieving that goal, and it's a unique feature to Success on Tap which allows you to link habits and goals together. So that's what you do on this page, this habit builder page. You build those habits and then they integrate in with the rest of the system. So to create a habit, you can simply click on the goal, which will automatically be brought up here, and it brings up this pop-up box. So the goal is to run a marathon, so we need to think, what do I do on a regular basis that maximizes the chance of me hitting this goal? So let's say, for example, I'm going to run 10 kilometers 3 times per week. Okay, so we get this nice little summary at the bottom. In order to achieve run a marathon, I'll run 10k 3 times per week. So I'm going to save that habit. Okay, so the system's realized that we've created our first habit, which is great, and we can click here to return to the dashboard and continue the tutorial. Just a quick note, if you want to create more than one habit per goal, you can do that just by clicking this new habit button. It then opens a box where you can choose the goal you want to associate it with. Okay, so let's return to the dashboard to see what's next. So the next step in the tutorial is to add quarterly goals. So let's just go ahead and click this flashing yellow box. So this page here is a nice view of both your annual goals and your quarterly goals for the current quarter. And the idea here is that you break down your annual goal into a smaller goal that, if achieved, will bring you closer to that annual goal over time. So here we can see we've only created one annual goal category and we've only created one annual goal. And so it's quite bare, but in reality, once you've created all your annual goal categories and all your annual goals, this page will have quite a lot going on. There'll be a lot of quarterly goals to set. So it also has the option for you to look at different quarters. So if you click these boxes, you can open and close the various quarters. But right now we're only interested in Q1. So let's think, what do we want to achieve in the first quarter that will make it more likely that we run a marathon by the end? So I'm going to try and break this down. I'm going to say, if I run 15k this quarter, then to me that says I'm happy that I'm on the right progress track to get to the marathon by the end of the year. So the system has realized, yep, we've created our first quarterly goal, that's good. So let's return to the dashboard to see what's next. Back to the dashboard, we can see that things are kind of starting to take shape. We've got some of these charts appearing for our goals and our weekly habits. Notice we didn't add any monthly habits, so this is still going to be empty, but you know how to add habits now, so you can go back into Habit Builder and do that if you want. Okay, the next part is to build our savings data. So before we can even look at setting a budget, we need to just set up our assets. We need to look at what we have right now. So let's click on My Assets that's flashing here. So again, we've got this description which you're more than welcome to read, but essentially this page is all about tracking your wealth. So you can hold financial wealth in many different forms. It can be in the form of an investment such as a property or some shares. It can be in the form of a commodity such as gold. It can be in the form of a bond or even just a simple savings account. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to add a simple savings account that shows how much money we have in the bank or in this particular account. So to do that, I click Add Asset. What's the name of the asset? I'm just going to call it Savings Account 1. I'm going to say I've got 100 quid in there, and I'm going to save £100 every month. And it's important, just for the tutorial, make sure this savings account box is checked. So the way that SuccessOnTap is designed, you've got two types of assets, liquid assets and illiquid assets. So a liquid asset is something which is essentially a savings account. So you've got wealth in an account which you can withdraw at any time. If you had, for example, an asset that was property, you couldn't draw on the value of that property if you needed to have some money right now. So that's the idea. So I'm going to mark this as a savings account. Okay, congratulations, you've created your first savings asset. So what this will do is it will tell the system that I have £100 to my name. And so if I'd set up a goal to save £1,000 this year, it would know that I'm already 10% there. Okay, so congratulations, you've created your first asset. Click here to return to the dashboard. Okay, now that we've set up our assets, it's time to have a look at the budget section of SuccessOnTap. So let's just click the flashing yellow box here. Okay, so the budget is made up of a number of sections. It's made up of savings targets, your income, your fixed liabilities, your constant expenditures, and whatever money's to be saved. So I'll go through each of these sections and explain it as we go along. So as you can see in the savings targets, everything's blank apart from the current savings, because that's taken from my assets that we just set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and define my annual savings target and the rest of the information. So this first box, annual savings target. How much do I want to save this year? So I'm going to save £100 a month. So I want to say I'm going to save £1,200 this year. I'll put that in right now. And the initial savings, as we know, are already £100. And that just gives SuccessOnTap a reference point so it can calculate your progress as it goes. So click Update, and it does some calculations, and it rightly calculates that we've saved £0 so far this month, because that's what we've got at the moment and that's what we started with. Okay, moving on from savings targets, let's put a little bit of information about our income. So entering a purely arbitrary figure here, I'm going to put in £1,500 as income, and you have the option to add in supplementary income sources. So if you have a rental property that's producing some income, or you have a paper round or something like that, you can add that here. So I'm going to add in rental property, I wish. Say that's £200 a month. Update. Okay, so that then creates the total, calculates the total of £1,700 going in. The next step is fixed liabilities. So this is, we're moving from money coming in to money going out. And fixed liabilities are defined as things that you have to pay. You have no choice to pay because you've signed some kind of agreement that forces you to pay them. And that includes things like your rent, mortgages, any kind of debt that you're obliged to pay. So I'm just going to put in a couple of bits and bobs here. So we've got rent, we'll put again a made up number, and I'm also going to add in student loan, again a made up number, and update that. It then prompts us to put in constant expenditure. So again, this is money that's going out of your account every month, but it's more controllable. Things like food, travel, that kind of stuff, where you can actually control whether you spend more or less every month. So there's also the option for contingency, just so you can account for the unexpected. So I'm going to add a constant expenditure. Let's put food in here and say I spend £120 a month on food. And let's also add travel and say I spend £100 on travel. Update that. Okay, so moving through, the final part of the budget is to tell the system how much you intend to save. So we've already established we're going to save £100 a month. So I'm just going to put some savings account name and £100 a month. Okay, so that's update. So that's us complete the budget. It's brought us to the top and it's told us to click back to the dashboard. Before we do so, I just want to explain these summary boxes here. So we've got a summary of our total income, our total liabilities, our total expenditures, and the total amount saved. And then anything that doesn't fall into these categories, any money left over, just gets dumped into this fun money box. And essentially that represents any money left over once you've got your paycheck, you've paid for all your standard living expenses, and you've saved the money you want to save. And that money is kind of left over for fun things like going out with your mates, going for beers, going to the cinema, all that good stuff. So here it's quite a lot, 780. In real life you'd probably save more, but that's just going through it. And then there's a couple of nice kind of donut charts here which show how your money's spread out. You've got fixed liabilities, expenditures, saved, and your fund money. And then here we can see that we've met our savings target, as we've seen, because the calculated monthly savings target up here is 100, and we're saving 100. If I was to change this to 80, that would not close the ring. Okay, so I hope that was useful. This is one of probably the most valuable features in SuccessOnTap, so I thought I'd just explain it in a little bit more detail. Okay, let's head back to the dashboard. So we are almost there. We've set up our annual goals, we've set up our quarterly goals, we've set up our habits, and we've defined all of our savings and budget information. The final thing left is to set our monthly goals and to have a look at the This Month feature and what it does. So let's just click there now. So as you can see, there's a fair bit going on in this page, and it's no longer just a goal creator like some of the other ones. This is all about getting the most out of your current month and being able to both set goals for that month, take notes, track your monthly habits, and make sure your budget is on schedule. So on the left, you've got everything financial. On the right, you've got everything about goals and habits. Okay. If we'd set up monthly habits, they would be featured here on the monthly tasks part. But remember we only set up one habit, so it's not there. It's possible to add goals for the month here and any notes here. So I'm just going to quickly add a goal, and then we can go to talk about the financials. So to add a goal, it's pretty simple. You can just write save, and then just like all the other goals, you can mark it as complete by clicking there. You can edit it by clicking on it again. Okay, so moving on from the goals over to the financials. So SuccessOnTap realizes that no month is the same, and so yes, you can have a budget that kind of spans over the entire year, and it defines what your monthly incomings and outgoings are, but when it comes to each month, you're going to be doing different stuff. So this is what SuccessOnTap allows you to do. It allows you to basically tweak your budget for each individual month. So when we were going through the budget section, we defined the take-home pay, liabilities, expenditures, and all that good stuff. And in the end, after all that money was paid in and paid out and sent to savings account, we had a fund of £800. Okay, so this represents the money that is free for us to do what we want, because we've already accounted for our expenditures and liabilities as well as the amount of money that we want to save. Okay, so this month we've got a rather nice £800 to spend, and that will be the same every month. But say for example, this month you had a huge birthday party. right in the middle of the month, on the 14th. And so you want to tell the system that you're going to spend a big chunk of money. You're going to spend maybe £200 that day, and you want to know that after that event you can check your balance and you're not going to feel really sad because you're going to have accounted for it. So I'm just going to do that now. So big birthday, and we said that was going to be on the 14th, didn't we? Let's do that, and let's say it's £200 we're going to spend. Just click save there. So we can see that on these projected account balances down here, there's a significant dip at on the 14th. And that means that when it comes to the 14th, or the 15th actually, the day after you spent that money, the projected account balances are actually they're going to represent what you see in your bank account. Rather than feeling terrible because you spent £200 in one night, you still know that you can spend that money and still, reach your goals at the end. So it's just a useful feature, being able to look at what your balances are going to be like over time. So let's just add one more event just so I can kind of highlight this. I'm going to say big night out. I'm going to say we'll do that on the 27th, and that's going to cost £100. We save that. And that again just sorts out again accounts for that in your balance projection. So you can see what your balance is going to be on any day. And then obviously if you overshoot the mark and you spend more than your fund money exists, then you won't be able to do that. So I hope that was a decent explanation. And that is the this month feature. Let's go back to the dashboard. Okay, so now we've completed the basic setup procedure. I know that was a bit of effort, guys, but it's definitely worth it. It's a one-time effort where you set all this stuff up, and then it's just a matter of using the this week and this month features to track your progress as you go along. So we can see we've got all our nice donut charts up here. We don't have monthly habits because we never set a monthly habit up, so I'm just going to quickly do that just to show you what it's going to look like once that's done. So if I go back to Habit Builder, and this is also a good opportunity for me to show how to create multiple habits for one goal. So I'm just going to click New Habit up here, and say to run a marathon I'm also going to cycle 30 miles and do that once a month. And that just adds the monthly habit in as well. And if you want to edit a habit at any point, you can literally just click it and it brings it up. So let's go back to the dashboard, and hopefully all those graphs will exist now, all the rings. Okay, so now that we've added that monthly habit, we've got everything we need here: our monthly goals, quarterly goals, annual goals, weekly habits, monthly habits, and our savings performance. You will notice, however, that we don't have any of these graphs at the bottom yet, and that's perfectly normal because these don't run, the weekly habit performance data graph, it doesn't run to collect the data until the end of the week, and this one doesn't run until the end of the month because it needs to have that monthly data that already exists in order to start building up the historical trends. Okay, now that we've added the monthly habit, I just want to show you quickly that this month has changed a bit. So if I click onto this month, you'll be able to see that there's now a tracker here for cycle 30 miles. So as soon as I've completed that this month, then I would simply click this button and that would mark that as complete. And then if I go back to the dashboard, you'll see that my monthly habits are completely complete because that was my only one. Okay, so as you've probably gathered, everything on this left nav bar is all about setting up your goals and your habits and your budget. So that's all setup procedure. Once that's done, you don't really have to go in there too often. Just maybe once for the quarterly goals, and that's maybe when your assets are being updated. So when you're saving more money into your accounts and stuff, that's really the only time. You're going to be spending the majority of your time up at the dashboard this week and this month. So you've seen everything apart from this week. And essentially all this week is a page that it really doesn't look like much at the moment because you've only got your one weekly habit. But as you build more goals and more habits, this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's where you track your habit performance. So say I've just gone out for a 10k run. I'd come back and I'd just mark it as complete. Here, I've done one. Tomorrow if I do another one, I'd add that up to 2. But let's just put it for 1 at the moment, okay? So if I go back to dashboard, you can see that the week's habit has been updated here. So even now we're already starting to see some progress. That is an overview of the basic functionality of SuccessOnTap. On top of this, there is the settings page. I'll just quickly talk you through and there's the beta zone. So let's just have a quick look at the settings. So settings is really, there's not much here. This will expand over time as you ask for features from me and you ask for additional flexibility with the system. But right now it's fairly easy. So you've got your annual goal end date where, say for example, you want to set a yearly goal, but you're starting halfway through the year, you only register halfway through the year, then you can change the annual goal end date. So say you started in February, you could make the annual goal be accomplished by February of next year rather than the end of the year. I always recommend to just keep it as 31st of December because it's nice and clean, but that's up to you. And everything else should be modified correctly. There's then the option for the first payday of the year. So this is really talking about when you get paid, so it can manage your budget and your balance projections correctly. So this is assuming that we get paid monthly on the first of each month, and we could change it to 4 weekly, and it changes the budget as if you were getting paid 4 weekly. And then also there's the option to change currency. So right now we've got dollars and pounds in there, and that's just what shows up in the budget sections. And then you can just click save settings, and then it shows that it's saved. So back to the dashboard. The final thing I want to show you is the beta zone. So I've created this beta zone as a kind of very, very basic forum where we can all kind of get together and talk about the app. So it's a feedback mechanism where you can tell me and other users about bugs that are in the system, a feature request, something that would be very interesting and useful for you, and then just general chat, so you can talk about something you like or just anything really. And then so these are all posted by me, this example account, and when someone else has posted something, if they post a feature that you really like, you can upvote it. And finally, you can filter out different types of comments. So say you only want to see bug reports, you can look at them. See if you only want to see feature requests, you can look at these, and likewise. Okay, so that is everything. I hope you find it very useful, and I really hope that you enjoy the app, and please give as much feedback as you can through the beta zone, because that is what's going to make this app better. You're all here because you're goal setters, and I hope that you're going to find value in this, and you basically have me at your fingertips to build the features you want, because we both win if I build an awesome system. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching, and please just get stuck in and don't hesitate to contact me on the email addresses or through the beta zone.